Sometimes life can just be too much. There are times in my life where I have felt stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, anxious, depressed, and a little just out of control. And though we need to honor those times in our life, and it's always okay to feel ups and downs, and that's a regular part of life, and I have developed a system that I have found to work for me when I feel like I'm just being buried under rocks and boulders and I can't find space to breathe. The first thing to do when feeling this way is to really just sit with it and think, what experiences or choices have I made recently that have made me feel this way, or what am I going through in my life that has led me to this point? And then after that, I like to just process it and acknowledge that it's happening, honor that feeling inside of me, and figure out, how I can work through this. So it's totally okay to have a bad day, it's totally okay to have a bad week, but when it starts to go beyond that and it really starts to impact other things in your life, that's when it's time to do some work on yourself to try to get back out of it. One tool that has been really transformative for me is to keep a journal and then to write down everything that I'm experiencing. So that's food, that's my feelings and emotions, that's questions that I have about how I'm feeling or what I'm eating or what I'm doing with my life. That's keeping a track of exercise or lack of exercise or anything that is coming at me or going out of me that I could maybe be using in a better way. I also make sure to write down a list of what I want changed in my life at the bottom so that I always have a goal that I can work towards and something to try to look forward to. The biggest, sometimes hardest, and most rewarding change for me when I'm trying to find my zen again is to disconnect. Being around technology all the time, especially having my phone in my pocket all the time, is a great thing, but when I'm not feeling too hot, it also can be a really debilitating thing, and it can lead me down a path of even more sadness, more anxiety, more anxious. I always am looking at social media and feel like I can't measure up, and that's not a way to build your self-esteem or boost your confidence. I like to disconnect from technology, from social media, from my phone. I like to put it on airplane mode, shut off my computer, at least at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Although it feels like you're losing something by doing that, you end up gaining so much in other things that can make you happy. For me, that's baking a new recipe, curling up on the couch with a cup of tea and a good book, or just spending quality time with my friends. Letting go of that reliance to be connected all the time will actually free you up to be more connected in your everyday life. So the first thing that I like to analyze when I'm feeling out of whack is by starting with my food. For me, that is a huge trigger in how my mood is, how I react to certain things, and how I feel internally and externally. And so I always go back to the basics. So for me, that's tons of fruits and veggies and really things that are just nourishing for my body. I love using recipes from Deliciously Ella or Chris Carr to really get back into the swing of eating right and feeling good, and slowly I realized that that alone probably changes my life 70 to 80%. It is a huge dramatic effect for me. Food can be such a crutch and also such a support in our times of need, especially emotionally, and so I really want to be mindful of what I'm putting into my body because that's going to affect a ton of how I feel. After realigning your diet, then start walking a little, first with music, then silently, then adding an easy form of exercise such as yoga or Pilates, and then slowly start building your stamina back up to where it was. Yoga has really been such a source of support for me, and it has really helped change my life, and I couldn't imagine not doing it now. But when I was feeling really down and out, I didn't do it for a long time, and months went by, and I slowly had to build back that stamina to go to a yoga class and just sit there. And even I probably spent half the time in child's pose, but just being there around other people that, had open hearts and open minds helped me to feel the same way as well. Finally, I like to do meditation. I know that that's super scary and it's super hard, and I am not perfect at it at all, but that is the only way that I can really connect with myself and give my brain a break. I feel like I'm in such a mental fog all the time because my mind does not stop working. I just think all the time, and I think of good things but also not good things. And by meditating, it silences that and it gives me space to be who I really am. I have created a really solid evening routine that sets me up for success. I start with disconnecting by doing any last minute work on the computer or checking Snapchat one more time before bed, and then I unplug all of that, put it onto the chargers for the night, and say sayonara. Next, I wash up, take my supplements, and then I started using a diffuser recently, and it has totally changed my sleep habits. It triggers my mind when I start one of my essential oils and makes me feel like, oh, it's almost bedtime, I gotta start winding down. And it's been really, really helpful. And then finally, I grab a book or a journal and read for like 30 minutes to an hour, and my body will start to tell me when it's time to go to sleep, and I'll slowly drift off and I'll be set up for a successful next day. Although going through tough times is really hard and something that I don't wish on anyone, it is something that happens to everyone. When I am doing good and making right choices for myself, I feel like I can do anything. And I also feel like it's time to give back and send out that energy into the world so that other people can feel it as well. Because gratitude is a super powerful thing. Even just writing down, what you're thankful for, or just telling a friend what you're thankful for, even if it's that you're thankful for them, can make a huge difference in this world, because we all need more gratitude and we need to feel more love. You are not alone. You have gifts that are so unbelievably amazing, and it's time that you go out into the world and share them. I love you. Thank you so much for watching.